years ago, I started wondering, why are we only hearing about and learning about men's speeches in history?
Shame on the age and on its principles.
7 years
The lack of money is the root of all evil.
This was their finest hour.
Tear down this wall.
I went looking for speeches by women in history. I searched through hundreds of speech anthologies. But they're not there. So I dug them out of archives, out-of-print books, old newspapers. I eventually found thousands of speeches by women, speeches that the history books forgot about, ignored, or simply overlooked. Because it turns out women have been speaking in history, even if the history books haven't acknowledged it. In 1792, a young woman named Molly Wallace gave a graduation speech at the Philadelphia Ladies' Academy and asked an important question.
Many sarcastical observations have been handed out against female oratory, but to what do they amount? No one will pretend to deny that we should be taught to read in the best manner, and if to read, why not to speak?
Our role models for public speaking shouldn't just be men. We need to hear women's voices, women's points of view, women's ideas, expertise, and experience. That's why I'm publishing a new anthology, Speaking While Female, 75 Extraordinary Speeches by American Women, with speeches that have been left out, ignored, and in most cases, forgotten. Speeches by the women who helped get us to this point in history. Their voices deserve to be heard. Women like Sarah Parker Remond, who traveled to the north of England in 1859, before the Civil War, to tell audiences that the flourishing cotton trade that was making them so wealthy was directly tied to the evils of slavery in America.
The slaves are essentially things with no rights, political, social, domestic, or religious. The absolute victims of all but irresponsible power.
Aurora Lucera White Leah, who spoke out in New Mexico in 1910 and made the case that Spanish should be taught alongside English in the public schools to preserve the Spanish heritage.
We want to learn the language of our country, but we do not need to deny our origin or our race or our language or our traditions, because we are not ashamed of them. We are proud of them.
Selena Sloan Butler, among the first to speak out in 1897 about the brutal convict leasing system in the South, the chain gang.
The sanitary condition is repulsive and a reflection upon any civilized people.
Clara Foltz, the first woman to come up with the idea of a public defender system because the poor need representation.
Let the criminal courts be reorganized upon a basis of exact, equal, and free justice.
The Princess Viroqua, a Mohawk woman who became a medical doctor and a popular public speaker. In 1891, she addressed an audience in Washington, D.C., not long after the brutal murder of Chief Sitting Bull.
As long as I have a tongue to speak, I shall preach peace.
I've chosen 75 important speeches by American women. Their views represent the diversity of backgrounds and beliefs. Each speech will have an introduction that sets the stage and puts each woman and her words in context.
These speeches are for you, your daughters and your sons, your students, your friends.
Everyone who believes in equality and truth.
Because everyone should know the power of a woman's voice.
As Fannie Jackson Coppin said in a speech at the Chicago World's Fair in 1893, why educate the woman? What will she do with it? Rather ask, what will she be with it?
So please buy the book for yourself, for your friends, because there's power in women's words.